Hello, welcome to Gus McDoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 0800 hours on December 18, 1944, and the weather remains foggy. Air support and artillery have been allocated, and there are no supply drops. In the last episode, US 14th Cavalry Group fought the German Kampfgruppe Piper from 1st Panzer Division at Bulge. The result was a total American victory, and the German Kampfgruppe was forced to disband. The next battle is at Manschau between the US 424th Regimental Combat Team of 106th Division and the German Kampfgruppe Knittel from 1st Panzer Division. Commander, we must hold Manschau because it is the last line of defence on the road to St Vith. The building in the centre of town is the best place to set up a defence. It has superior elevation, which will allow you to see the enemy as they strike. On the US side is an American infantry battle group from the 424th Infantry Regiment under command of Captain Morgan. It moves slowly and reserves are full. The company consists of 3 platoons. 1st and 2nd platoons are infantry platoons. 3rd platoon is a support platoon consisting of 2 anti-tank guns, a mortar and a medium machine gun. Casualties in the last battle were light, and there are no new squads. Now let's review each of the squads. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters. 2-2 is a BAR squad. 1-2 is a BAR squad. 2-3 is a rifle squad. 1-3 is a rifle squad. 2-4 is a recon squad. 3-3 is a 57mm anti-tank gun. 3-2 is also a 57mm anti-tank gun. 3-4 is an 81mm medium mortar. 3-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. 1-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. 1-4 is an M9 bazooka team. And 2-5 is also an M9 bazooka team. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to delay the hostile column from Kampfgruppe Knittel because it is the last line of defence on the road to St Vith. The village of Manschau is a linear urban area that sits on a crossroads. The roads lead east to Udenbrecht, north to Bulge, and west to St Vith. North of the main Udenbrecht-St Vith road and west of the crossroad is a forested hill. To the south, past a line of buildings, a large defile or area of low ground. East of the crossroads are village buildings and farm fields. While the roads have long sightlines, observation is generally broken up by buildings, the woods, and the low ground. A number of 2- and 3-story buildings offer better observation, but fields of fire are generally limited. The village buildings offer both cover and concealment. The low ground to the south offers concealment to any troops in the defile. The wooded hill provides concealment but little cover. There are no major obstacles in the area, although the village buildings tend to channel vehicle movement along the roads. The crossroads is the key terrain in the area because it allows movement through to St Vith, although it does not confer any tactical advantage. Some of the village buildings offer tactical advantage because of their location and fields of fire, as well as cover and concealment. Unsurprisingly, the roads are the obvious avenues of approach in either direction. The 424th Regimental Combat Team defeated the German Kampfgruppe Knittel at Manschau yesterday. Kampfgruppe Knittel is once again likely to approach the village from the east, with a mixed force of armoured cars, half-tracks and infantry. They are likely to attack up the road and through the village from the southeast. The Germans could lead with their infantry, clearing the village building by building. Their armour could be kept in reserve, to the rear and behind buildings, but ready to pop out and reinforce the infantry as required. Or they could lead with their vehicles, using tanks to aggressively smash through American positions and dominate terrain, with the infantry following and mopping up remaining pockets of resistance. The optimal killing zone would be the area around the crossroads, engaging any vehicles emerging from the cover of the buildings into the open. Alternatively, the Germans could swing around to the right and attack from the northeast. With the armour forming a support fire line, firing over the open fields from a distance to suppress any defenders, the infantry could advance to take the isolated farmhouses. Then they could seize the woods. Finally, the armour could move to the second support by fire position, and the infantry could fall on the village buildings along the road. The optimal killing zone would be the open ground north of the village. As with yesterday's battle, the Americans will seek to place the anti-tank guns from 3rd Platoon to the north, to permit flanking fire on approaching tanks. One option for the Americans is to place 1st Platoon along the road to St Vith. They would deliver echelon fire to any Germans seeking to use the road. The rifle squad would be furthest to the east, followed by the BAR squad, the bazooka, and the Browning medium machine gun. 2nd Platoon would be in a blocking position around the crossroads. They would prevent German infantry from moving up to the crossroads, and they could counterattack to retake the village. This plan is sound, but for two factors. First, 2nd Platoon would be in the impact area for fire from the anti-tank guns, which is poor geometry. Also, it would leave 2nd Platoon in a messy and avoidable knife fight with infantry, supported by armour. They are likely to take unnecessary casualties. An alternative option for the Americans is to keep the anti-tank guns from 3rd Platoon in the northern position and 1st Platoon echeloned to the west, but 2nd Platoon would stay in reserve in the defilated dead ground to the south of the road. When the time was right, in other words when enemy armour was defeated, 2nd Platoon would conduct a counterattack on the village. This plan has the same defensive advantages as the first plan, but exposes friendly troops to less enemy fire and thus fewer casualties. And in yesterday's battle, this plan proved very successful. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. First platoon echeloned along the road to St Vith. Second platoon in defilade in the low ground to the south. And 3rd Platoon to the north, in positions which permit flanking fire on approaching tanks. And so we begin. In the first moments of battle, the Americans lost 3-5, the Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun squad, to fire from an armoured car. In return, the anti-tank guns destroyed one Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234x1 2cm armoured car, one Sonderkraftfahrzeug 250x10 3.7cm half-track, two Sturmgeschütz 7.5cm assault guns, one Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251, and one Sonderkraftfahrzeug 232 2cm armoured car.
Feldwebel!
6 vehicles in 1 minute. Second platoon begins the counterattack on the village. The Germans have at least 2 armoured vehicles still active. The second Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234x1 2cm armoured car is immobilised. The armoured car is hidden behind a burnt-out hull. .34 Abernathy's 81mm mortar opens a fire mission. .13 Finch's rifle squad fires at German infantry advancing west. A Puma 5cm, out of the line of fire. Ramirez, leading 2nd Platoon's recon squad, prepares to sneak across the frozen field. 2nd Platoon is advancing in bounds.
Geht in Deckung!
Abernathy switches mortar fire to another Kommandowagen, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. Tucker has 13 rounds but does not want to use them. German infantry are moving on the 2-storey house at the Manschau crossroads. The Americans and Germans are trading territory on each other's left flank. Ramirez's scouts now push forward to the building. The rest of 2nd Platoon moves up. The Germans have taken the Manschau objective. First platoon will need to counterattack to retake it.
Feldwebel! Feldwebel!
Second platoon pushes forward. At the same time, the Puma pushes forward. The Germans are pushing north from the crossroads to isolate 3rd Platoon. A Panzer squad has moved forward.
Feldwebel!
This could be a threat to the anti-tank guns. Finch's rifle squad targets them. Ramirez's squad pushes forward on the right flank. And the remainder of 2nd Platoon pushes up. While his platoon suppresses the Germans in the centre, Maddox in 2nd Platoon headquarters pushes north to counter the German thrust. German vehicles appear to have detected the threat from 2nd Platoon to their south. And thrust forward. Ramirez's squad is in a firefight
Taking fire!
with a German half-track. .32 knocks out the Puma. Finch's rifle squad is out of ammunition.
Target out of range.
Unteroffizier!
To the north, the Germans have taken the road to Baugnes.
Feldwebel!
Maddox hears grenades and is about to rush forward to retake the objective.
Team redeployed. Enemy spotted.
But instead decides to counterattack the crossroads.
Enemy spotted. Team redeployed.
Geht in Deckung!
The Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251 is destroyed.
Feldwebel!
Total American victory. The battle ended because the Germans' force morale got too low and they were forced to retreat off the map. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. The Americans took 2 killed and 3 wounded. As with the last battle, these are very light casualties in view of the effect on the enemy. The Germans took 14 killed, 15 wounded, 2 tanks destroyed, 6 half-tracks destroyed, and 1 half-track captured. And their Kampfgruppe disbanded. Let's examine the American squads. Burnett from 2-2 is wounded. Pryor is credited with 1 half-track. Keach from Ramirez's recon squad is wounded. Blackwell's squad adds another 2 half-tracks to their tally. Freeman knocks out a tank, 2 half-tracks, shares credit with Gibson for another, and receives the Bronze Star. Biggs bags a tank and the Combat Infantryman's badge. Sadly, Curtis's medium machine gun team is lost to a direct hit from a German shell. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grant campaign has 14 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. Already, the Americans are refusing the northern flank, and the German Bulge is in danger of being cut off at its base. Over the campaign, Cumulative American losses are 144 killed in action, 139 wounded in action, 5 tanks, 2 vehicles, and 10 guns. Cumulative German losses are 315 killed, 265 wounded, 39 tanks, and 31 armoured vehicles. So, what did we learn? I learned from the last battle and counterattacked with 2nd Platoon earlier, more carefully, and with greater success. But there are risks in approaching a battle with essentially the same plan as last time. If your plan worked, it may well work again, or the enemy might do something different. The Germans did a little of both. Foolishly, they once again led with armour, only to see it destroyed with 6 vehicles lost in the first 60 seconds of battle and another 3 lost over the next 10 minutes or so. The flanking position of 3rd Platoon's anti-tank guns made the whole area a fire sack for vehicles not behind cover. But, with the vehicles gone, the German infantry then attacked in the centre. They seized the crossroads and then the Manschau objective, and pushed north to take the road to Bulge's objective, and were well on their way to isolating 3rd Platoon to the north, before being halted by the anti-tank gun crew in a last-ditch defence with grenades. This is what the Germans should have done all along, led with infantry, not armour. Isolate, then neutralise the anti-tank guns, only then bring up the armour to suppress the remaining American infantry with a high volume of fire from long range. The success of a single German platoon demonstrated what was possible and the weakness in the American defensive plan, but was undone by the poor tactics of the armoured vehicles. With the vehicles destroyed or immobilised, the German infantry were hung out to dry, and the Kampfgruppe disbanded. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.